What is up, Hub Hack? Today we're going to be. Did I do my intro? Did it go? Did it register? What is up, Hub Hack? Today we're going to be talking about The Last of Us Season 2 finale, and this episode is crazy. So I'm not gonna. I'm gonna try to do a full-on recap of what happened. So the episode starts off with the theater. Dina has the arrow through the leg, and Jesse is taking care of it. And there's a knock at the door. It's Ellie. Ellie comes in rushing to wonder where Dina is. Ellie goes up into the theater. She goes to where Dina is, and we get the whole scene with Dina taking care of Ellie's wounds. Then I can't remember what happens next. I think the Isaac scene where Isaac's like, what happened to Abby? And it's revealed that Abby has gone AWOL. And we get the funny scene where we get the question answered why Abby's so special. We find out that Isaac was hoping to make Abby the future leader, which, you know, makes sense now. But anyway, people were questioning whether or not he was in love with her, so there's that answered. Then it goes back to the theater, and Abby and Jesse are like getting ready with everything, going to go hunt for Abby. And Dina puts on a bracelet for Ellie and says this is for good luck. And I chuckled at this scene of Ellie telling Dina that, like, oh yeah, because it works so good for you. I thought that was funny. Then it shows a wide open shot of the theater, and it says like Seattle Day 3, like the game. And Ellie and Jesse are going to the book theater, and then they weirdly made Jesse a jerk in this episode, because like they Ellie and Jesse have this whole conversation about how Jesse fell in love with this random person that was at Jackson and was visiting Jackson, and he didn't go with her because he had jobs to do at Jackson. And he made it sound like he was better than everybody else because he outright told Ellie, I was raised to put others before myself. Which, you know, obviously is speaking volumes to what Ellie is doing in Seattle, you know, trying to hunt down the person that killed Joel. So that was clearly what's the word? A nod from the developers, like Ellie is being selfish when really she's not, in my opinion, but it's whatever. Then the radio sounds, and they spring up because they find out that, oh, Tommy is, you know, firing at the WLF, obviously, if you played the games. then we get the iconic scene of Jesse and Ellie arguing, and it was actually more drawn out, which I prefer. And Ellie's like explaining that your community has walls around it and helps each other. My community was beaten to death in front of me, and there's that whole scene, and yeah, it was a lot more heartfelt than in the game, which again I prefer. But so Ellie's going on the boat. She's bringing the boat to the Ferris wheel, but she gets crashed into a wave and then is onto the Seraphite Island. And I thought they were gonna switch Abby and Ellie's storyline, but they didn't, which I'm actually happy for. So then there's a massive explosion, which we know as the Seraphite village being attacked, and that's how Ellie gets out of there. Massive plot armor, which I'm sure we're going to hear about because fans are insufferable. But she gets back on the boat to the Ferris wheel, and the scene plays out how it did in the game, where she's going to interrogate Owen and Mel. I actually do prefer how Mel dies rather than in the games, because Ellie accidentally shoots Mel. Like, Owen goes for the gun, is about to shoot Ellie. Ellie shoots Owen in retaliation, but the bullet goes through Owen and hits Mel in the neck. Ellie is trying to save the baby, which, again, I prefer, because I thought Mel was one of the better people in that community. Like, she didn't seem like she was interested in anything to do with killing Joel, but you know, it's whatever. Tommy and Jesse come to save Ellie / comfort her. They go back to the theater, and then this is when the heartbreaking scene happens. They're in the theater in the main area, and Tommy goes up to the lobby area to like pack bags because they're going to leave Seattle, because obviously, you know, Dina's hurt and pregnant, so that poses a whole nother problem. We hear crashing in the lobby area, and then Jesse and Ellie run to the lobby area, and then Jesse dies, which didn't affect me as much the second time, because obviously, but it still was sad. Then we get the whole scene of like Abby talking to Ellie, being like, we let you live and you wasted it, and all of that. And then this is when I think they switched things up, because she points the gun at Ellie, and then a gunshot sounds, and then it cuts to black, which didn't happen in the games. We get a clear vision of what actually, you know, happened. So we actually don't know if Ellie will survive. The worst part about this is that we have to wait an entire season to know what happened to Ellie, which I'm not the happiest about. Like, I get it. because like it would be a really long season if they tried to fit Ellie's storyline and Abby's storyline in one season. But now we have to wait an entire season to know what happens to Ellie in the group. Like, I get it, but there's also the fact that like you're basically going off of a chance that people will actually be interested in season 2 and season 3. Like, that's the thing, and it's a very bold choice. Like, they're doing exactly what they did with season 2 and making bold choices, and they're just hoping on a prayer, living on a prayer, if you will, that season 2 will not only be successful, but that people will even remember what happened to Ellie. Because the thing is that if you don't watch the entirety of the show in one sitting, then you might forget about certain storylines, because there's going to be so many plot points in season 3 with Abby that I think fans will forget. Like, obviously, fans of the game won't forget, but the fans of the show specifically might forget what happened at the end of this season. But other than that, this episode was honestly fun. Give it maybe a 7 or 8 out of 10, personally. Just so many like scenes that are almost ripped straight from the game, but then they also add on scenes that are almost better than the original game. But other than that, it was a fine episode, and overall the show was pretty good. I like that they do add on scenes and make a lot